Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the League of Europe PC League Season number 2, round number... I've forgotten already. Round number 11 here at Catalonia in Spain. My name is King Kodiak and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the commentary box, I'm always happy to say, is the world's most beautiful badger. It is Badgerman!
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very excited for this one. Spain, a track that in real life doesn't always produce great racing, but I've seen a fair share of quality races here on the F1 games.
Indeed. Now, for some reason, I was having some technical difficulties, which I hope do not persist much beyond now. If they do, it'll be very irritating, because I don't know what has changed. Right, 16 drivers join us this time around. A few drivers that were with us last time, not here, alas. Let's bring up who is with us. Oh, wrong button. Right, we have got some times coming onto the board. LTU currently at the top of the tree in the AlphaTauri with a 15.2, but lots of times yet to come in. Sven in the Mercedes is with us, as along with Sniper in the Racing Point. Kangocom returns to us in the Ferrari, and Snaybold takes hold of the second. Black Panther in the second AlphaTauri already invalidated his lap, so will not be putting a time on the board. Exy is in the pits. Graham in the second Racing Point, just coming through turn 1. Merkt is in the Williams, currently sits in third in the championship, and is working his way through turns 1 through 4. Inbound Cupid has just put a time on the board in the Renault. Lucky Finger is in the pits in the McLaren. Madchip in the Haas, and Casu in the Williams are in the pits at the moment. Zadima in the Alfa Romeo is with us. Velo is just returning to the pits in the Mercedes, and J. Cole, our championship leader, currently in the pits as well. Right then, Herr Badger, what do we know about Catalonia?
Well, it is a track that is 4.6 kilometers long, 2.9 miles. We are going to have 33 laps around here in the race. It's 16 corners, 7 to the left, 9 to the right. Of course, one of the many clockwise circuits, especially in Europe, obviously. The clockwise circuit's dominating there. And the lap record was set in 2020 by Valtteri Bottas with a 1 minute 18.1. However, as we can see already, the drivers in qualifying obviously going significantly faster. In the race, however, I think we'll get close. I would expect someone on the soft tire, maybe near the end, although I don't actually think we'll see, on the medium tire near the end might be able to beat that, because we have the 3 hardest tire compounds here, the C3, C2, and C1, which gives us the same gap between all 3 tires, which is 0.6 of a second. So, in fresh condition, the softs are 0.6 faster than the mediums, and 1.2 seconds faster than the hards. The softs, however, well, they only last 8 laps around here, so they are very, very volatile, which has me surprised that a lot of drivers are qualifying on the softs right now, because I certainly wouldn't try that. I'd probably try to go for a medium qualifying, hope I get into the top 10, and then have the massive advantage. The mediums last 15 laps, and the hards 20 laps. So even with those two, you barely make it to the end after 33 laps.
Absolutely. A lot of people invalidating their lap times, so we're seeing some struggle out there, it would seem. Who's the Merc that's coming around turn 4? That is Sven, currently in the second place, working his way around one of the Racing Points, as you can see. Now, this track is a tricky one. As explained, 16 corners, and it's now, with the facts that you gave us last time out of Japan, transpired that Suzuka being more a power hungry track than you might initially think. I wouldn't deem Catalonia to be a particularly power-orientated track. I would deem this one to be much more a technical track. But then you do have that monstrous straight, start-finish straight, Where do your opinions go on this one?
Well, you can't always just take the average speed to indicate high power required, because if we're looking, for example, at the new track in the 2021 season, Jeddah, where it is projected that the average speed will be at around 250 kilometers an hour, that's very close to Monza and ahead of a track like Silverstone. But if you look at the layout of the Jeddah circuit, it looks rather technical. They have a lot of fast sweeping corners, which you need to get right in order to fully get those 250 kilometers an hour average lap speed. So I think you can't always take that. Japan is still a technical track, but because it has very few slow corners, it requires a lot of power as well. Here for Spain, I would say it's sort of in the lower midfield in terms of average lap speed at 214.3. It is only half a kilometer per hour slower than Canada, which I think we all would consider a power track.
That's a fair point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's also a whopping 12.5 kilometers per hour slower than a track like France.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Spain has these slow corners. If you look at the final sector, if they hadn't changed the final sector to build in that new chicane that all the drivers, I think, unanimously really detest, then I think we would be looking at a track that is quite decently paced. But that's sort of a roadblock there. It really interrupts the rhythm of the drivers. Other than that, you don't have many slow corners. You have the hairpin at the start of the final sector, and you have the long right-hander right after. But other than that, this is a very, very fast track. You have a lot of medium to high-speed corners. I mean, just look at the whole first sector. You have about one braking zone, and the rest is just throttle. So I think it is a track that requires drivers to do it all, ultimately, because you have slow sections, you have fast sections, you have medium speed corners, you have every kind of corner on it, which is why it was always hailed as this sort of wonderful test track, which I think we now found out that it's really only good for testing. Because it has no excuse anymore after Bahrain delivered after testing. So, you know, I think for the drivers, it's a unique challenge in that it does require every single thing from you. It does require you to be good at everything. And someone who is a generalist, who isn't very good at the power tracks but struggles at slower circuits, or someone who's very good at slower circuits like Monaco but struggles at power tracks, I think if you have a good mixture of it all, then you're going to do well here.
I'd say that's perfectly fair. It's looking through some people again. Quite a few invalid laps coming up. J. Cole jumping to the top of the tree with quite a commanding 14.6, 0.8 of a second ahead of his current second place on the tree. Sven, interesting that Velo is yet to get a time on the board. Velo is still second in the championship, and yet is considering at least medium tyres. Kasu has indeed come out on the medium tyres. I'm curious about that. Don't often see the harder tyres come out in qualifying.
Yeah, as mentioned before, the softs only last 8 laps in the race, and even if you pit and take them 9 laps, you still would have to do 24 on whatever tyre you choose after. And the hards only last 20, so you would not only have to stretch the softs beyond what they're capable of, but also stretch the hards beyond what they're capable of. And the drivers do not want to run that risk. They'd rather go for a one-stop, medium to hard, and qualify on mediums, hope they qualify well, than going for a 2-stop where you lose 20 seconds here on one pit stop. So you lose 40 seconds, well, you lose net 20 seconds on those who only pit once. So I think it makes perfect sense. I would do exactly the same. Try to qualify on the mediums. You only get one run. That's the risk. But I'd rather take that risk, because ultimately, if you do qualify outside the top 10, I mean, you still get to start at whatever tire you want, so
True enough.
you still get the advantage on everyone who decides to qualify on the softs inside the top 10.
And Velo has invalidated his run, so mind you, he's still on his out lap, so it is coming up as an invalidated lap, so which he hasn't actually begun yet, so that's fair enough.
Kasu
has
on
that
a lap
Whoops.
right now.
He is indeed. It's coming through turn 9. Doesn't go too wide on the exit of the turn. Down the hill then towards turn 10. DRS squirt down the hill. And through 11. Keep it going nice and balanced. Hard over to the apex line for the long turn 12. And again, this is such a... I personally find this track really difficult to get into a regular rhythm with. And from a driver's perspective, not a particular fan of this circuit, so I don't envy our drivers at the moment. And that is 5th with a 15.3. A pretty decent time on the medium tyres. Are we expecting to see most people come back out on the mediums, do you think?
I would think a lot of them, but if there's ever been an opportunity for a driver who might not be at the top of the standings, who might not be the fastest, to get a very, very good qualifying result. I mean, this right here is it. This right here is the chance. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have some drivers that we haven't seen, do too well so far this season, who maybe have been consistent point scorers. I'm thinking XE, Black Panther, consistent point scorers that are always there, always good results, but never on the podium. They're both missing a podium. They both have, Black Panther has 7 points finishes in 8 starts. XE has 9 points finishes in 10 starts. Consistent as can be, but never on the podium. I think those drivers might think, you know what, hey, if I can get this into a good qualifying position, I'm going to try that. And as I say that, Black Panther immediately punishes me for saying that because he's on the mediums.
He is indeed. Merckx has just jumped up into 2nd position with a 14.6. J. Cole improved in his start time with a 14.2, but J. Cole is opting to stay on those soft tyres. Now, with quite a few medium runners now out there, where did Velo... So Velo jumped up to 4th with a 15 flat, so quite a few people got your memo, but quite a few of them didn't, it would seem. Still, some people running those soft tyres. Graham has just started another hot lap on the soft tyres. We're in the Banzai phase now. So I wonder if those that have only got their banker laps in and maybe have invalidated their previous runs aren't confident running the harder tyres, I wonder. So they're sticking with the softer rubber. But yeah, I think that's going to bite them when come race time. Is the way that people are behaving. We're not looking at rainy conditions, unless that jumps out and surprises everybody. I shouldn't imagine
there's
so.
Too many medium runners. If it was rainy conditions, they'd be all on the soft.
That's what I would have thought, yeah, as well. As Sven looked like he was a little bit squiggly coming through turn 14, 15, 3. Let's ride on board with the second Mercedes-N through the lap. Currently in 5th position on the soft tyres, which he's running another set of. Down towards turn 1 and down through the gears. Runs over as much of the apex as he dares. Sweep through 2. Don't run too much onto the AstroTurf, but that's too much. He's thrown that one too hard over to the right-hand side. He didn't do the full Grosjean, but he has buried it in the gravel trap. Merckx and Velo have retired their cars from the session, and that is, well, he's not going to have time to do anything else, so Sven will start no higher than 5th position. What is Black Panther doing? So Black Panther's actually come out, you were saying he wasn't listening to you, he has come out on the medium tyres on a time run at the moment. XE has parked his car in the pits, as has Sven, we saw having trouble earlier on. Lucky Finger has retired his car from the session as well. What can Black Panther do then? So currently in 6th with a 15.3. I believe he
might not improve. He might not improve. At which point, yeah, he doesn't 4/10 down. He's gonna have to start on the softs, and his softs when he set the lap time were 2 laps old. So he's really in a pickle right now. He's really gonna suffer at the start of the race.
Oh dear, oh dear. And of course he's put some life into those mediums as well. I mean, that's very irrelevant because you're only pitting once anyway. So in these races, that's not going to be too much of a bother. Manship was up there higher in the session, higher in the tower early on. Whoa! As the tail gets very lively through turn 7 and 8. Now sweeps through 9. Oh, and nearly flies off the road, but manages to catch that one. That's right on board for the remainder of the lap. Then the tail of that Haas is very, very loose as he comes through 11. Round 12 hugs that inside line. Now lets the car run over to the left. There's a Ferrari ahead of him. Snowball jumps out of the way. But Snowball wasn't able to start another lap as the checker flag is now out. What can Manship do as Black Panther jumps up into... Oh no, couldn't have been Black Panther, beg your pardon. It was Kango Khan. No, what's a Kango? Oh no, it might be LTU, beg your pardon. The 15 flap. And that's a 15.529. So it's the same time as Graham to the thousandths of a second. Nicely done there, but that is 11th, so he can opt to start on the harder tyres. You're right, it was LTU with a 15 flat. Kango Khan is still out there. He's done a time lap though, so he's likely to be returning to the pits.
Yeah, that's going to be it for the session. And I tell you what, looking at this grid right now, we see J. Cole starting on the softs, the championship leader, and he may have already lost some points here in qualifying because Merckx, who's third in the standings, 30 points behind, he has a massive chance tonight to gain some back. He's the leader of those that are starting on the mediums, and then Velo, who's 15 points behind J. Cole and second in the standings, he's starting on the mediums as well in P6, so he's fourth of those medium runners, and he will, I think, have a massive battle there with Kango Khan, Zuidema, and of course Merckx. So those four I would keep an eye on. J. Cole, I think he may have just misjudged it on the tires here.
That's the first time I can think of where the top 10 are evenly split between two different tyre compounds. Usually have one or two trying the off strategy, but not normally half of the top 10. But it's J. Cole and Merckx up front, Kango Khan, Zuidema on road 2, LTU in 5th position. We'll run through the rest of the grid when we load back in again. Looking skywards, we're expecting it to be dry, unless people have really pulled the blinder. Well, it's cloudy, but it's dry. So that should favour the harder tyres as well, the lower temperatures.
That's going to do well for the soft runners, that's for sure, as their tyres will now last a little bit longer. For the medium runners, it won't matter as much because obviously medium to hard, the one stop definitely gets you to the end no matter the conditions.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking right now is maybe the drivers that opted for the softs were thinking that, hey, maybe at some point early on in the race it's going to rain, or at some point midway through, past the 15 laps that the mediums can take, maybe even past the 20 that the hards can take, but at some point between that point and the end of the race, it's going to rain, and as such, they want to have the better tire than early on, because everyone's going to be on two stops. One from whatever tire they started on onto another dry tire, and then the second stop, because the rain is coming so late that they have to put a stop in between. The second stop then onto intermediate tires. So we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds exactly, whether there is any rain coming or whether this is a fully dry race. If it's a fully dry race, the 5 drivers on the softs, J. Cole, LTU, Sven, Black Panther, and Graham, they kind of screwed themselves over.
But interestingly, every drive, 11 to 16th, all went for the medium tyres. So I think they're making the same gamble as the medium runners in the top half. I wonder if they're playing the weather, because the clouds up there look very dark. But we'll see. That's not an indication of anything. As a reminder, we don't get a weather forecast in the commentary box. The drivers know what's going on. We don't. So we have to kind of guess what the weather's going to do. I'm still not convinced that... Well, J. Cole came out repeatedly. It's not like he tried to beat a soft tire on the mediums. He stuck with those softs. So we'll see if that gamble pays off for him. But that would kind of indicate that there is rain somewhere in the race. That would explain why we have a 50-50 split as well.
It would, because if the drivers don't know when exactly the rain is going to hit, if it's going to be early enough for like laps 8, 9, 10, where you can try and stretch these softs, or if it's going to be later on in the race, lap 12, 13, where you want to be on the mediums at that point. So, yeah, I really don't know where this goes. We might see actually the skies clearing up. For all we know. Anything can happen, anything goes, and for the drivers, it seems like it is a weather gamble first to last.
And no one binned it in the parade lap. I'm disappointed, but
I'm not. I'm quite happy to see that for once.
Here we go then for round number 11 here in the LOE PC League season number 2. It is time to wind them up and let them go. Who is going to be bravest on the brakes and who is going to have the best start? It's a pretty decent start throughout the fields. One of the AlphaTauris jumping out and trying to make a move. Whoops! That's one of the Williams kicking up some dust halfway through, but Merckx has already taken over the lead before we get through turn 1. Into 2, side by side, J. Colin Merckx. Medium shot Williams, soft shot Red Bull, and that's Merckx up into the lead. It was Merckx that had the disastrous start last time out, and he has had a stormer this time up into the lead. Now then, J. Cole 2, Sedema up into 3rd position, LTU 4, KangoCon 5, Black Panther and Velo having a great old argument for 6th position, side by side for several corners. Now the Mercedes has gone ahead of the AlphaTauri as we work our way through the field. It looks like everybody has made it through, no incidents so far.
Yeah, I'm looking at the back of the field, and this time they all kept it very, very clean. They made sure they stayed out of each other's way. We have seen the odd tangle in lap 1, and there goes Inbounds Cupid to get out of last place and really sends it on Lucky Finger there. Thankfully, Lucky Finger willing and able to pull out of the way a little bit there and leave Inbounds Cupid some space, so no contact between the two. But I'm pretty sure Lucky Finger will not be happy about this one, as that was from quite far away.
Over the line then, Merckx continues to lead the way. He's got 4 tenths over J. Cole at the moment. The field is already kind of breaking up a little bit. There's a bit of a gap, but what's that? 4th, well, there's 7 tenths of a second between 2nd and 3rd and 3rd and 4th, which is a bit of a surprise so early on, but anything can happen, especially if we are going to...
Snaybolt has spun. Snaybolt has spun on the exit of turn 2.
Oh,
just
dear.
lost traction, no contact with anyone. We had Inbounds Cupid and Lucky Finger who had to avoid him. Thankfully did, so no contact there. But Snaybolt lost traction on the exit of turn 2. There is a little bit of a bump on the apex on the inside, where if you accelerate too quickly or you steer too far, all of a sudden it can really just pull the car around, pull the rear of the car around, and all of a sudden you find yourself just being a passenger, thankfully at rather low speed, so no issue for Snaybolt there to get the car running again, but his rear tires are going to be screaming now.
Absolutely they are. J. Cole is really hustling Merckx at the moment for the lead of the race. Slightly further back you can see as all issues. Oh no, Snaybolt again. Yeah, these his rear tires don't want to know, and he's having, well, he don't have to do a 3.10, there's plenty enough room out there, but he's really struggling to get back going again. Back up front, J. Cole is still continuing to put the pressure on Merckx, but not close enough to make a move. But his tyres are going to be out. Oh no, Snaybolt is just, he's had enough. Yeah, just started badly and gone even worse. And started bad and went disastrous very, very quickly. He's decided to retire the car. I'm not surprised. Another 0 on the board for Snaybolt. He's only scored points once so far this season. That was in Monaco. So it's not been a particularly strong season for him, but still plenty of races to go. Up front, the top 3 have broken away, but now Merckx leads J. Cole, leads Sedema, Williams, Red Bull, and the Alfa Romeo storming away then. And then right behind LTU, KangoCon, Velo, Black Panther, lots of people in, actually pretty much everybody down to 13th. Inbounds Cupid is all got slipstream, it was all within slipstream range of one another. So a bit of a gap between Cupid and Exy, but otherwise it's the train is being maintained, although
LTU has fallen off in P4 off
well, behind behind LTU, I beg your pardon.
Yeah. There was another gap for a split second that was over a second there between Cassidy and Sven, I think it was, but they've pulled each other back in. And so yeah, all the way down to
Oh,
XC
side by side, sorry, Austin. J. Cole, outside maneuver at turn 1. Swept through turn 2 to retake the lead. J. Cole had to make that move, though. He needed to get it done and get it done quick. And that is what he's done. I wonder if he caught Mert a little bit by surprise there. But J. Cole needs to kind of run away, and it doesn't look like he's got the pace advantage to be able to do that. Mert is just nailed to the diffuser of the Red Bull. J. Cole's going to be in the pits in the next kind of half a dozen laps at most, I'd have thought. Again, is he going to try and stretch out the soft tyres for any kind of weather changes? Have a look at the sky. Well, it hasn't really changed anything from when we previously looked at it. But that was a really good move. Quite a decisive manoeuvre from J. Cole.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm constantly on the onboards of the drivers. I don't even use the TV cam right now because I want to see when the rain is hitting, when the rain's coming down. And the TV camera just gives me that better view. So for now, no rain yet, but it might be coming. I feel like it's getting even darker now, and it's only a matter of time as Velo is looking to size up a move on LTU down the main straight, and that Mercedes power will see him through up to P5. He takes that position off of the AlphaTauri, and they're now in P6 and P7. The two AlphaTauris reunited.
That they are, yes, and they're both on soft tyres as well. So the best may well have gone from the Red Bull tyres. There's a great scrap at the back of Inbound Cupid, Lucky Finger and Sniper. Although Sniper's fallen a little bit off the back of it. These three have been locked together all race long. They are 3.2 seconds behind the rest of the pack, unfortunately, but they're having a wonderful scrap for wooden spoon avoidance at the tail end of the field. Exy is first on the penalty board in 11th position in the second Red Bull. Whoa, just as I say that, Black Panther didn't want to be left out of the equation and adds his name to the penalty board. Merckx has maintained that about 0.4 of a second gap between himself and J. Cole at the moment. And this is really what this track is about. It's about pressure applications a bit. You were alluding to it earlier, Austin. This is not an easy track to overtake, and you don't have very many of those big, heavy braking zones that aid in overtaking. Dear us or not, it's a tricky track as Velo gets the fastest lap of the race. He's chasing down Kangokon. He wants to get involved in that top 4 brawl at the moment. Kangokon looks like he's closing in on the top 3 as well. I wouldn't say they're holding each other up particularly, but it does look like Kangokon's really starting to get the best out of his tyres at the moment.
Yeah, I think at this point we are at the start of lap 6 now as what's going on there? That was a very quick yellow flag. Don't know what that was for. I think XC must have fallen back, yeah?
It could be.
XC.
It was XC. He's falling into the clutches of that what was three-way battle at the tail end of the field, which, if I can get my controls right, there's Lucky Finger actually on the back of XC now as Kasu now gets his name on the penalty board. Oh, and there's problems for XC. He's missing a chunk of his wing. I think.
Yeah, so he must have hit the wall. I think he did exactly what Snable did in turn 2. But he spun into the wall on the left side and thus missed part of his front wing. Ultimately, I don't know if that's happened, but it certainly looks like it. And the yellow flag was in the same spot on the exit of turn 2. So it makes sense if that's what happened. Maybe he ran into another car. Although I don't think so. You don't lose that much front wing just by running into another car at similar speeds. As we have our first pit stops here, LTU and Graham. So I'm thinking right now, they're coming this early. They're expecting the rain to come a lot later.
Or if at all. Yeah, because it has to be medium tyres. It has to be medium. So XE is in as well because we knew that his front wing was dead. And Merckx is now starting to hustle J. Cole again. Equally, Kangokon and Velo have turned this trio into a quintet up front. Now a 5-way fight for the lead. But Merckx is really under the rear wing of the Red Bull now. J. Cole's going to be feeding Merckx, breathing down his neck as the best of those soft tyres has definitely gone. Xy's opted for the hard tyres. Curious if he was expecting rain, but it may well just be hedging his bets on the rain not coming at all or very, very late, if anything. So he's gone for the hard tyres. It tends not to work too well in these races, but we will see. Again, if we do get wet weather, all bets are off, quite frankly. What is J. Cole going to do? Is he going to come in this time? No, he is stretching out that soft stint. He had a pretty decent run through 15 and 16 there, but he's got a lot of horses right behind him, really piling that pressure on. Black Panther's in as well, so that's another stop for assumedly mediums.
Yeah, I'm thinking Exy is hedging his bets not on either rain or anything else, but he's hedging his bets on a potential safety car. So if that happens, I would say from lap 16 onwards, all of a sudden Exy could just pit for mediums or softs and go to the end, and so he doesn't want to use up these softs or these mediums. He wants to go as long as possible to give himself the widest range of laps where he can hope for a safety car to come and sort of bail him out, because right now he's already in P15. He's got a penalty to his name as well. It's looking pretty dire at this point, and so the hards, I think, are that sort of choice where you say, hey, if something happens, they'll kick me in it, but if nothing happens, I mean, it doesn't matter what I do.
Oh, we've got trouble. Lucky Finger is in the wall. Oh, no, the McLaren has had trouble down at turn 7 and 8, and he's struggling to get back on track. Lucky Finger again. Well, he's not living up to the first part of his name. J. Cole is indeed in the pits. He was very much bottlenecking that top 5.
Oh, and Lucky Finger spinning again into the wall. Slightly brushes the wall, but no damage to the front wing. But yeah, those rear tires now are basically gone. He has to be so careful in the throttle application, or else these tires are just going to spin him out next time as well. I'm looking at him right now through this hairpin. You can see it there. The car really not gripping whatsoever on the rears, and it really shows. J. Cole going for the hards. I think for J. Cole right now, that is the sort of choice where you say, look, I need to do a one-stop here. I don't know if this will work, but I'll try. I think that's J. Cole's idea here, is Lucky Finger will go into the pits as these tires are effectively ruined and he has to get rid of them. Not what he wanted, and Lucky Finger is going to struggle for the rest of the race, but J. Cole, I'm very interested to see if he can make the hard tire last 25 laps when the indicated lifespan is only 20.
Oh, that's a tall ask. Yes, the car gets lighter towards the end. Oh, trouble. Is that Exy? Yes. Oh, no. Front wing missing on the exit out turn 2. Oh, dear. We may well be losing another from this race. And Lucky Finger's just come back out of the pits from his repairs. That battle for that top 4 battle is very close. And then Sudima getting really close to Merck now as they come through turns 1 and 2. Sven has come into the pit, so that's the last of the soft starters coming in. I think Sven's left that a bit late to come in. Velo was obviously nowhere near it. Snowball has left the session. Well, he'd already retired his car, so that isn't anything to read into. So where is Sven going to reappear? Oh, he's going to reappear pretty much in... Well, he'll be joined by Graham. He'll have a little bit of company back there. Another one to look at. Kasu and Mad Chip are having a bit of an argument for 5th position. The Williams trying to fend off the Haas at the moment, but I would say that top 4 battle, that really could go anywhere. They're already catching the back of Lucky Finger, so as long as Lucky Finger behaves himself and gets out of the way, it should be fine. But letting 4 cars go, you don't always anticipate letting that many leaders through at the same time, so this could get interesting.
It certainly can. It's very difficult. Ideally, they catch him somewhere on the main straight. Then he could just let all 4 by, and it's the least awkward. In any other scenario, he might have to let them by one as Exy retires in the pit lane. He parks his car. Yeah, very unfortunate for him. Their 2nd retirement of the day. Velo swerving a little bit there, showing himself in the rearview mirror of Zudima. But no attempt made at an overtake here. He stays in P3. I tell you what, if I am Velo, I'm cursing the fact that there's 3 cars around me. If I'm Mercked, I really don't care too much. I just look behind and do whatever I can to keep him behind. But if I'm Velo, I'm thinking, why do we have to have 3 here?
Yeah.
If it was 1, Velo would be fine because he could just slipstream and use the DRS off the other car. And by the way, that is one way to let everyone by. Lucky Finger has spun
again, same spot as well
in turn 7, and yeah, that will do it. All 4 are now past him. Very, very unfortunate for Lucky Finger there. It's really not his day. And hopefully he can recover for the next race. But I'm still looking at the top 4 there. Really, Kangaskhan and Velo are getting the closest right now. Everyone else really struggling from dirty air. But between Velo and Kangaskhan, I mean, they're both catching the dirty air from the car in front. Then again, so does Zadima. And for some reason, Velo can't really fully, perfectly keep up. But it's going to be interesting how this develops here. I think this could go either way between these 4. Anyone can win this, and anyone can end up 4th, or, I mean, maybe they even tangle up. Let's hope not, because I want to see this kind of battle go all the way down to the wire.
Here comes Matchup making a move on Casu. Long dose of slipstream with DRS. Simple move into turn 1 for the Haas to move up into 5th position. Sniper is in the pits a little earlier than I was expecting. I was about to say there's another 4-way battle forming in 8th to 11th, but Sniper's just bailed on that one. He's gone to the hard tyres, so again, he's not... Oh, Cupid, you very nearly dropped that on the exit of turn 3. But he's trying to fend off the 2 AlphaTauris, and they're on very, very fresh tyres compared to his own, so he may well just be mugged at some point. And Graham's actually... Graham's close to LTU, I've just noticed.
Yeah, if I was inbound Cupid, I wouldn't bother too much defending against these 2 AlphaTauris. They're on a different strategy anyway. So they're going to run into more traffic. They're going to run into... Oh, as 3 of the leaders are coming in at the same time. Velo, the only one who stays out. Everyone else going lap 12 right now. Merc, Zadima, and Kangaskhan all coming in. Velo does not like this. He stays out a little bit longer. Generally, the one thing I've always seen around this track is that drivers are very unafraid to take tires longer than the intended lifespan. We see it here again. All 3 runners, Merc, Zadima, and Kangaskhan, will have to take these hard tires 21 laps, which is what...
Jaycol swept round them, so Jaycol's resumed the effective lead of the race.
Yeah, for now, but
for
his
now,
tires 3 laps older, and Merc is within DRS range for now, and he should have an easy time keeping up with Jaycol, considering the 3 laps fresher tires. But yeah, I don't know where this goes. I mean, Merc, Zadima, and Kangaskhan might run risk of running these tires into the puncture territory. Jaycol certainly will. The question is whether they will drop early enough, whether they will suffer a puncture early enough, or whether he can nurse them home in the final 3 to 4 laps of this race.
Velo is in. Now let's see where he reappears in relation to the block of 4 we've just looked at. Cupid did exactly what you suggested. Inbounds Cupid has let the 2 AlphaTauris go, either willingly or not. They are now ahead of him. So Velo's gone onto hard tyres. Cassie's coming as well. Madchip has chosen to continue. Oh, now Velo's going to be behind this pack. I think he was anyway, I think. Oh no! I thought it was going to be close, but he nudges the back of Zadima's car and into a half spin. That's going to cost him so much time. Oh, he was trying, I think, he's trying his best to beat Zadima to the apex, but sadly that's cost him nearly 3.5 seconds that particular moment. I think he's going to have to hope that the top 4, well, effectively the top 4, really kind of slow each other up. At the moment, there's not showing any real signs of that. That was very unfortunate for Velo there.
It certainly was. I mean, you come out of the pit lane, you're already on a compromised line towards turn 1, especially if you have so many cars on track and on the racing line. And ultimately, you just get slightly clipped there by one of your rivals, and it sends you into half spin. 3.5, 4 seconds lost. And really, I would say at this point, a chance at winning the race lost here for Velo, unless he somehow can catch up. He really needs right now is for Jaycol to do... I think the youth term for this is massive bits. Look, Hey, how do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah, so you're a hell of a lot younger than I am, so you'll understand that better than me.
I'm still old. But yeah, he needs to do a lot now. J. Cole needs to keep these guys behind as much as possible because again, J. Cole has the tire disadvantage on everyone behind him right now, and Velo should be able to catch up to these four if J. Cole stays in the lead because Velo should be faster than J. Cole. And that's the gap that matters here. But if one of them gets past, all of a sudden the game changes for Velo and he's out of the battle for the win. And he has to hope for either some kind of penalty or some kind of mistake or some kind of battle. We're seeing Kangakon and Zudima very close to each other. Situated right under the rear wing there. Kangakon trying to be Zudima's new diffuser. And it's very close there, my goodness. So there might be a battle there which could inch Velo closer to this group of four.
Could very well do. Also, I'm seeing sunlight
and
shadows.
Mercked on J. Cole for the lead.
And he gets him. He's got him. And Kangakon was trying to size up Zudima there, but didn't quite pay off. And Velo is falling away from this pack as well. That's gone horribly wrong for him. Oh, look how close is Kangakon thinking about moving Zudima. No, not quite, but Zudima does lock up into turn 4. Oh, is the Ferrari going to have a Banzai into turn 5? He's thinking about it. He goes to the inside line, commits to it. What a move from Kangakon. That's not an easy place to overtake, but he has managed to get the move done. Well, that was opportunistic. I'll give him that. And there was a tiny bit of wheel banging, but it didn't cost Zudima any. That was a wonderful move.
It was wonderfully set up through turn 4, I have to say. He sees that Zudima slightly outbrakes himself, locks up, has to take a wider line. He takes a more narrow line, faster through the corner, and then just sends it into turn 5. What a great overtake there from Zudima. From Kangakon, apologies. On Zudima.
On Zudima, indeed. That was very, very nicely done. But does J. Cole have an answer? I don't reckon he's going to be able to. As Merckx gets the new fastest lap of the race, and you can see there at the bottom of the shot, Kangakon is looming very large in J. Cole's mirrors. Of course, both the Red Bull and the Ferrari having DRS down that main straight. Something else I noticed is that J. Cole yet again has very little ERS energy. He never seems to be able to hang on to it. So Merckx got around about 40%. J. Cole is knocking on the door of being underneath 10. Kangakon 30 odd, and Zudima's not doing that great either. He's a bit under 20%. There's someone locked up there into turn 5, but already Kangakon is on J. Cole's case. Now Kangakon can't afford to let Merckx dance off into the sunset. So is he going to try another move? Well, he probably has to, because we know how quick J. Cole is. I think
J. Cole's out of DRS. J. Cole's out of DRS range from Merckx, so he will not have the overtaking, or in this case, really the defending ability here to open that rear wing and get some extra speed. So for J. Cole, this is getting dire. However, he might get it back here on the exit of the chicane. 9/10, he's back in it, but the question is, will he stay in it? At the detection point, he just got it, I think. Yes, he did. So he's back in it, and that should see him through for now.
That was by an absolute the tiniest margin you can imagine as Manchip gets his name on the penalty board. That was so close. J. Cole, we were very, very lucky there to hang on by the depth of a fingernail. He hung on to that, but you can see either by design or by accident, he looks like he was taking that defensive line against Kangakon. He doesn't want him banzaiing into turn 4 to try and take that second place away. Another lock up there. I missed which one did that. I think maybe in the Ferrari that locks up a little bit into turn 5. It's the unloaded wheel, so it won't make too much of a difference. But J. Cole is struggling. He's really out of the DRS range now. Surely this is going to be the best opportunity for Kangakon and probably Zudima.
Zudima is still a bit far away, but at this point, Kangakon should easily breeze past the Red Bull of J. Cole and up into second place. I tell you what, I'm looking at Merckx and I'm a bit surprised. I would have thought that Merckx was going to use a bit more ERS than he does. J. Cole saved some for once, but I think that's really just because he wants to use it here to defend, and he's done a pretty good job. Look at how far away he is. Half a second on the straight. Obviously, it's coming down now with the closing speed of that Ferrari, but it's not enough. So that ERS usage from J. Cole right now saves him P2 for now. Again, question is for how long, but he holds on to it just for now. And we have 15 laps left. We are past the halfway point.
That we are. Oh, Kangokon again, having a look on the inside, coming down towards turn 5. We saw him make that move work brilliantly well previously as Black Panther has come into the pits onto another set of medium tyres. The ghosted McLaren of Lucky Fingers come back out of the pits, unfortunately. Oh, Velo. Oh, no. He's got his name on the penalty board. That's the last thing he needed in his pursuit to try and rejoin that lead pack. But now Merckx is 1.4 seconds away, ahead, rather. He has got a victory early in the season. It was quite a while ago. It was back in round 3 at Canada where he took the win and the fastest lap, and he's looking to do the same again at the moment if he can just keep everything where he needs to. But a big question is, where is J. Cole going to reappear? Where's he going to finish, rather? As I've got a horrible feeling he's going to end up either having to pit again or just plummeting through the field when those tyres eventually give up. Oh, there goes Kangokon. Oh, no, he didn't get it. He went for the move, but well defended there by Jacob. That's just going to slow them both down.
Yeah, this is a blessing for Merckx right here. Kangokon now into turn 4. And he's once again, he sends J. Cole wide. Now, however, he's on the outside here. Has to brake later. Take the long run through the corner. They give each other space. And they touch. Oh, they almost spin each other. That was close. And J. Cole has the inside here, so keeps the position. And surprisingly, through all this, Zadima didn't get much closer to them. Oh. So I'm thinking he's keeping a bit of a safety distance here. As Kangokon looking, but not going for the move because he knows the long main straight is coming up, so he doesn't want to go past just yet. He wants to use the long main straight and then the whole first and second sectors to try and drive away here from J. Cole. But J. Cole, look at the gap he's pulling now in the final sector. He knows how to defend this well, and the only one who's really enjoying this, seeing it all unfold in the rearview mirror, is Merckx.
Well, I would say this is also playing in the hands of Velo because he is gaining on that pack. He's now 2.3 seconds. He was nearly 4 seconds behind him not that long ago. As LTU is coming into the pits, he's just got his name on the penalty board. He's changing those worn out medium tyres. So Velo could be in this before long too.
He could, but he still has that penalty looming over him, those 3 seconds that he can't get rid of unless he can somehow appeal it after the race. But in the preliminary results of this race, whatever they will be, he will have that 3-second time penalty. So he can get close again to them. I don't doubt that. But to get the positions, he needs a little bit of divine intervention, really. And speaking of divine intervention, I've been looking at the skies a little bit. They've cleared up significantly, so I don't think we'll see rain throughout the rest of this race.
No, indeed. The sun is very much ablaze, and in this part of the circuit, it's only in Sector 3. But we're right on board with Kangokon as he continues to hound J. Cole through this final sector. And like you said earlier, Austin, J. Cole's been really strong through that particular section. And there he goes again, just dumps the battery and hits that overtake, just gets himself away from the Ferrari. And Kangokon has the DRS open, but isn't deploying a great deal of DRS. Doesn't need to. Just using the DRS to reel him back in little by little. Kangokon playing the longer game here. Kangokon has been on the podium twice, hasn't had the top step, and with the way Merckx is driving, he's not looking to do that this time. But you know, Kangokon's no stranger to the podium. He joined us on round 6 in China, was third then, second in the following round in Australia, has been fourth twice. We didn't see him in Singapore. But he's a regular top scorer and is looking to again score another very fine podium this time about. But you can't discount what Zadima can do. Zadima is just lurking there. I think you're right. I think Zadima is playing a bit more cautious. He's waiting for Kangokon to plough into the side of J. Cole, I suspect.
Yeah, I think Zadima has seen what kind of move Kangaskhan goes for, and he's hoping that it goes wrong next time around. Because, I mean, we saw that move through turn 5. It was brilliant, and it worked out perfectly, but it was also a bit more of a risky move, especially in today's F1 and in today's climate. I think if you do that 20 years ago, no one's going to ask any questions today. People are going to be like, did you really have to do that? You know? So, it's interesting. I think he's hoping maybe that Kangaskhan is going to be a bit too aggressive next time around when he tries to pass J. Cole. But to really, I really want to give this defensive strategy from J. Cole a name. And as you said, he dumped the ERS. I immediately had the idea that NASCAR used to have the bump and run. I think what J. Cole's doing here is the dump and run. He's dumping all of his ERS at the start of the straight, and then he just runs away for the rest of it.
It's certainly working for him at the moment, but yeah, it's the puncture that's going to be the very big danger for him. If he can hold on to that second, then he's earned it, quite frankly. I mean, that's going to be a very difficult battle for him to come out the top of it. There's some other great battles going on as well. There's a battle for 7th going on, with Madchip, Kasu and Black Panther in relatively short order. LTU rather, not that far behind. There was a 3-way fight between the two Racing Points and Man's Cupid and the Renner, but Cupid suddenly made a mistake somewhere and lost a bit of time. That's again for Wooden Spoon avoidance at the tail end of the field. Oh, here we go again, down towards turn 1. Oh, Kangaskhan had a look, but no, again, not close enough. The dump and run, as you've affectionately called it. J. Cole, again, deploying his ERS at exactly the right time to give himself just enough space between himself and the Ferrari. And Zadima's like, well, come on, you two. I've been waiting for you to shed some carbon fibre. Get on with it. And Velo hasn't caught up as much as I thought he would. He has gained some, but I would have thought he would have gained a bit more than this, but he hasn't done. And time is running out if he wants to try and undo that 3-second penalty. I wonder whether he's banking on there being an almighty great incident right ahead of him as well, or he's just got nothing left to give, because the pace, let's face it, is not exactly slow.
Yeah, it might be for him that he's just saving his tires to absolutely 100% make sure that he doesn't get a puncture, because the one thing that Velo really can't do at this point is try to catch up and hope that something happens. I mean, he got the 3-second time penalty, and he can see that at least the two cars directly in front of him, Zadima and Kangaskhan, have no penalties. He doesn't know J. Cole's situation unless he goes into the race director, which I think he might not be allowed to during the race.
Sorry to cut you off there. I jumped back a little bit to the battle for 7th, and Black Panther has
Kangaskhan!
Oh, yeah.
Down the inside of J. Cole, and J. Cole is fighting back, but now the inside for turn 3 for Kangaskhan. J. Cole around the outside, and Kangaskhan's still there. Now has the inside for turn 4. Stays in there, and now J. Cole's grip just gives out, and I think Kangaskhan might have this. J. Cole, oh, he needs to leave space though. But now on the exit, Kangaskhan completes the move after what took about 5 corners. He finally completes the move there, and Kangaskhan is past the Red Bull of J. Cole. The dump and run has finally run out of power here, but J. Cole's still in 3rd, and Zadima is now looking for a move, and now Zadima's bet that maybe those two will come together. Well, they went side by side for 5 corners. They didn't come together. At this point, Zadima needs to get the move on and needs to get past if he wants a podium here.
And Velo is now very, very close to getting DRS range, although he was very slidey coming out of turn 15. That's going to cost him very valuable momentum. Now J. Cole's got the DRS. Here comes Zadima. Is he going to try and banzai that one into turn 1? J. Cole's catching on Kangaskhan as well. Oh, don't go 3-1 into turn 1. Zadima committed to it. J. Cole very, very alert. Saw him coming. Bowed out of his move on Kangaskhan. And they remain where they are. Here comes Zadima outside. He's going to try and replicate what Kangaskhan's just done, but the other way around. He's gone the outside line around turn 4. He wants to try and hang on to that for the inside of 5. Has he got him? He's got the move done. Can he hold it? And now J. Cole trying to cut back underneath. No, he's not got the tyres. He's not got the ERS. And that is Zadima through into 3rd position.
Yeah, but he is out of DRS range from Kangaskhan now. He needs to get that back 1.1 seconds. He might be under pressure from... No, Jaco has nothing left to give. No ERS there. He was down to 6% as he headed onto the back straight, so he had absolutely nothing in the tank. And Zadima now needs to catch back up as Black Panther has retired in the pit lane. 4th retirement of the day. And we are down to 12 runners and 1.4 seconds. Zadima lost a whole bunch of time and is out of ERS altogether for this lap. And that might make him a sitting duck here for Jaco, who doesn't have much left, but certainly enough to mount the challenge with the DRS. Is he going for it? No! Almost goes for a bump drop. Not sure those are the right cars for that. But very, very close there with his front wing to the diffuser of Zadima. And he remains behind. I'm a bit surprised. I would have tried that move just to get that podium, but maybe Jaco was just trying to work together with his Excel teammate. Obviously not teammates here in League of Europe, but they are part of the same esports organization, and as such, they might think about working together here and not so much against each other. And Zadima wants to catch Kangaskhan. 1.5 seconds the gap there. There's still 6 laps left. I think for Jaco, the tires are going to really get into a world of trouble in about 2 laps time.
Absolutely. So now, coming back to what I was saying about Black Panther, he actually ended up hitting the back. Oh, he's rejoined, but his car's retired. He hit the back of, I believe, it was either LTU or Mad Chip. Can't remember actually which car. I think it was Mad Chip he ended up hitting the back of. And LTU's just gotten past Mad Chip as well for that 8th place. So that was a great change. There was damage on the back of Black Panther, on the front rather of Black Panther's car. We saw him into the pits and now has seen a retirement. J-Col again thinking about a move on Zadima. I don't reckon J-Col's got the tyres left. The tyre difference between himself and those immediately around him, I think now it's just becoming too great. 4 laps on hard tyres may not sound enough, but when they're at the end of their life, it becomes a very significant amount. Velo nearly runs off the track, just gripping on with everything he's got left through that long turn 4. Oh, that was very nearly an exercise in lawn mowing. As we jump back to Mad Chip, who's trying his best to hang on to the back of LTU, but LTU's got medium tyres, fairly fresh ones as well, so he's now running after Kasu to try and undo their respective penalties and maybe even think about Sven in 6th. But I reckon J. Cole's going to begin the long plummet behind him. But then saying that, there's 25 seconds, or 24 seconds rather, between Sven and Velo, so he's just going to sit in that gap unless he blows a tyre.
Yeah, and that's the one fear I think J. Cole probably still has right now, is that he might actually blow a tyres, that he might actually suffer a puncture in the waning laps of this race. He really wants to avoid that at all costs, so maybe that's why he's not battling at all with Zadima, because he doesn't want to use these tyres more than he has to. He really wants to save them for now and nurse them home on the last 5 laps of this race.
Merck does no trouble up front. 2.5 seconds between himself and Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan may have the fastest lap, but Merck may not be too interested in that at this point, as he continues his cruise. Around 4 laps to go, or 4 and a bit laps to go for the Williams, who has just played the strategy brilliantly well. And then there's another 2 seconds back between Kangaskhan and Zadima. Zadima's still with company behind him. I would imagine that J-Col is just trying to fend off Velo at this point. As I come into turn 10, does the Mercedes have an answer to the Red Bull? Well, I think he probably will have an answer, but does J-Col have anything left to defend with? We will see as we work our way through Sector 3, down towards 14 and 15 again. And there again is where J-Col has just been so strong, just dumps the battery, gets the DRS open, no doubt using his overtake, and actually Velo's got no ERS left either. So he's in exactly the same situation as J-Col is, just the only difference between the two is tyre life.
Yeah, it really is, but that might make all the difference. If Velo knew this, that J-Col is also out of ERS, he might want to save some, because J-Col will dump all of his on the main straight, most likely every single time. So if Velo wants to get past, either he saves some to... Velo! Do you not lose it right there? My goodness, that was about as close as it could be to completely binning it. And right now he's still in P5, so even after the penalty, he's still in P5, and that would be a good 10 points for the championship that he really, really needs to not fall off of J. Cole. If it finishes as it is right now, we would have Mercked on 150, we would have J. Cole on 167, and we would have Velo on 150. So that, yeah, Velo and Merck would be tied.
Oh, Merck's just picked up the fastest lap.
Yeah, Velo would have the advantage. Here goes Velo, by the way, on J. Cole. No DRS this time. Nothing to save J. Cole, but the 3-second penalty looms large over Velo's head. He needs to pull out that gap as best he can. He has the tire advantage for it, I think. But does he have the time? 3 laps? That's not a lot. He needs to gain a second a lap and more.
I don't think he's going to be able to do it. The tire difference between himself and J. Cole isn't that big. The best thing that Velo can hope for is J. Cole to fall off the road or for a puncture to happen. I can't see that he's going to be able to overhaul that gap without some help. LTU is very close to Sven, though. That's a battle that's been looming as well. So I was looking to see... So Sven and Kasu have swapped round as well, but it does look like LTU with those medium tyres is going to be pressuring for 7th position. Oh, he's very close to Sven coming out of turn 5. Down the hill they come through 6, 7 and 8. Up towards turn 9. Now, is the AlphaTauri going to banzai that one into turn 10? DRS of both of them. Is he going to go for it? Here, there he goes. He's committed to the move. And nice and straightforward there for LTU. Sven saw it coming and opted not to fight him. Nicely done. That's LTU up into 7th and still no move. Well, not enough movement for Velo. He's got himself 9/10 of a second as Graham gets his name on the penalty board. Really, the other thing that Velo could hope for is J. Cole to pick up the dreaded 3-second penalty. That would level those two out, of course. But it does seem...
It would, but it's very unlikely. J. Cole does not have a single warning.
Oh, wow. He's lasted that long on those tyres without going off track. That is an achievement in itself.
It really is. I've been looking at his driving style the last few laps, and what I've noticed is that he avoids curbs more in these waning laps of the race than he did before. He's really trying to stay away from them. And there is a theory, I don't know if it's confirmed, but I at least have this theory that you can get a puncture if you are above 70%. It is easier and more likely for you to get a puncture the more you run over the curbs. Because obviously the curbs have some sharp edges in places, and that can slice up the tire. If you're unlucky. And so I don't know if we are, hold on, are we running on simulation here? No, we're running on full damage, so generally it shouldn't happen, but maybe above 70% tire wear, it might still happen. I have no confirmation of this theory, but maybe J. Cole is thinking along the same lines, making sure that there's no way these tires can puncture, that any of these tires can blow, and try to nurse this car home, because right now he would still get a 4th place on penalties.
Indeed, as Merckx is heading through the turns for the final time. 3 seconds between himself and KangoKon. It looks like our podium is decided. I would imagine J. Cole has enough to hang on to overhaul Velo unless the puncture or whatever happens in the final stages. Through turn 15 down towards 16, and here he is to take his 3rd win of the season, a 2nd win, beg your pardon, of the season. Your winner, and fastest lap on the final lap. Nope, that's just gone to KangoKon. Your winner here in Barcelona is Merckx. 2nd is KangoKon. 3rd is Indemon. J. Cole does indeed inherit that 4th position. Velo comes home 5th. Kasu is a little way further back behind though. Look, what's the penalty count? 6 seconds between himself and LTU. So Sven's actually going to inherit both of those positions. Oh, LTU's just added another 3-second penalty to his position. It won't make any significant difference there.
It might. He might lose the position to Madchip.
Madchip's got penalties of his own. So
yeah, but only 3 seconds.
Well, let's have a look then.
Oh, it's a tenth of a second.
Oh, very close indeed. You were on the right line. Yeah. Oh, me of little faith. Yeah, I grant you that one. That's and Graham's had a battery failure there, so his race really has gone wrong. Comes home in 10th position. Now, what is that's our leaders. So here comes Sniper and Cupid. What's their penalty counts?
Both on 3 seconds.
3 second each, so they're not going to change round. Well, they'll finish on the lead lap at least, but the wooden spoon goes to Cupid on this occasion. Well, that is Catalunya done, and the top spot is going to Merck. Another penalty on another podium rather on the board. Driver of the day inbounds Cupid. That's a curious decision, but okay. That is an unusual driver of the day function within the game, I grant you. But you can. But once again, that was an absolutely spot-on win.
I understand why. Because he was the one who gained the most positions because there was so little movement.
Oh, true.
But ultimately, because the top 3 all gained 1 position, P4 lost 3 places, 5 and 6 gained 1 position, P7 gained 2. The only one who gained 3 places was Inbounds Cupid, so he got the driver of the day.
So there it is then. Without Stewart's intervention, Merck takes the top spot. Kangagon second, Zadima third, Jacob fourth, Velo fifth, Sven sixth, Cassie seventh, LTU in eighth, Madchip 9, Graham rounds out the top 10, Sniper 11, Inbounds Cupid 12. We lost Black Panther, Lucky Finger, Exy and Snaybolt as that race progressed. Whoo, my oh my. That was something very nicely done to our drivers, and we have already been joined by someone. Let's see who that someone is. I stop the crowd from making their noise. Who has come to join us? It is... Okay, it's not one of our podium 3. It is Black Panther, who we lost in the course of that race. Good sir, what happened?
I was like really pushing hard because the strategy wasn't like the one that I needed. But we were in a 4-way fight, I mean, and I think the guys in front of me broke a little bit earlier than I expected, and yeah, I had front wing damage on red on the left hand side. It was just I was gutted.
And I'm afraid to tell you that we did catch that on stream as well. I did see that just as it happened. You all kind of bunched up, and sadly, a piece of your front wing then disappeared. But
yeah, I need to check. I need to check it again. What really happened, because it all went really fast, and it was just a stupid accident. Like the same, nearly I think, with that Kasu and I had earlier in the race. But yeah, shit happens.
That's the way it goes, unfortunately. So is Bahrain next time out? What are your thoughts towards there?
I'm really gonna push hard to get redemption on this race, so I'm surely not gonna hold back anymore.
Glad to hear it. I look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you very much, Black Panther. Right, who else has come to join us? Well, we have got a few of our podium. Let's have a chat to J. Cole, the almost on the podium, but still a solid result nonetheless. How you can't have had much tyres left.
It was Code Brown, I will admit. If I want to give you the exact percent, it was 84%. Yeah, it was borderline. I feel like one more lap and that's it, it would have gone. So I suppose, you know what, for P4, I'm happy with that. My idiotic self decided to softer tyre set, so I couldn't go for a set of mediums in qualifying, so I just had to go all out in qualifying as much as I could and try and get away from the beginning, but just didn't work.
I was going to say, were you sort of looking at the tyre choices around you and saying a few choice words, or were you still fairly confident you could do something?
There was definitely a few choice words that was that was said. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, no, it was, overall it was a fun race. It was congrats obviously Merckx, Kango and Zadima as well. So yeah, they done bits tonight.
Well, still strong in the championship. What are your thoughts towards Bahrain?
I quite enjoy the track. Wouldn't necessarily say I'm good at it. Kind of like Spain as well. It's like I like the track, but it's a bit hit and miss for me. So I'm hoping that I can pick up a bit more points. It's just as soon as we get past Zandvoort, then I can get a bit more back on my stride.
Well, if fourth is not a good result for you, then we look forward to seeing you towards the top spots again. Thank you very much, J. Cole.
Cheers, lads.
Zadima, are you with us?
Yep.
Well, you had a ringside seat for a lot of fighting going on ahead of you.
Yeah, it was quite exciting to watch, I guess, but it was also frustrating because I just wanted Kango to get past Jacob for a long time when I was just on a lot of ERS, but it just didn't happen. So I just forced him to overtake him by using all my ERS on one lap, and it kind of worked, I guess. But yeah, there was also a lot of battling just between me, Kango, J. Cole, even Mercked at the start. Like it was a fun race overall.
Now, we were trying to figure out whether you were holding back and waiting for Kango and J. Cole to come together, or whether you were just pushing flat out. What was going through your mind when you were in that position?
Well, I was just sitting behind because it's quite hard to overtake when somebody is close to another one. So I was just saving my ERS and just waiting for a moment. Not really for them to collide, but just maybe just a mistake so I could attack. But then, because J. Cole pitted earlier, he was on like more worn tires, so I could see that his pace was dropping off, and I was just, hoping that Kango would just overtake him so I can overtake him as well. But in the end, it all worked out, I guess.
And thoughts towards Bahrain?
I really like the track, but I'm usually not that fast there, so hopefully I'll do well, but because I like the track, but we'll see.
Best of luck for next week and for the rest of the season. Thank you very much, Zadima.
Thank you.
And it's another win under your belt, Mr. Mercked, sir. You must be quite happy with that.
Yeah, it was a good race. I mean, I was kind of on my own for near the end, so yeah, it was quite comfortable.
It looked like you had complete control over that. You didn't look like you had to kind of force anything. You had everything under control. Was that fair to say, or were you really hassling J. Cole early on?
I wouldn't say I was hassling him. Obviously, I didn't see the point in really trying to hold him up. I'd just rather let him go and I'll do my race. I knew he was going to obviously pit earlier than me because I was on the mediums and he got back through after the pit stop phase, but I knew if I overtook him, I'd be able to create a gap, and that's exactly what happened.
Awesome stuff. Played out exactly as you hoped. So Bahrain next week. What's your thoughts there?
Same as the other two. So I like the track. I'm fairly okay at it. We'll see, obviously, how it goes. But yeah, it should be another good race, hopefully.
So everyone's just okay at it. So no one's claiming that that's their track, which is going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Best of luck for next week and for the rest of the season. Thank you very much, Mercked.
Thank you very much.
And that is going to be it for tonight. Thank you very much to those who have been with us throughout the stream and those catching up after the event. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Thank you very much to my faithful companion, Mr. Batterman. Always a pleasure to have you in the box with me, good sir.
Yeah, always a pleasure commentating with you and over these great races. I can't wait for Bahrain next week.
Likewise, very much more a fan of the classic circuit. I say classic circuit, it feels like it's been on the circuit forever. It's one of the younger circuits compared to the likes of Catalonia, but wow, it's just one of those very, very exciting tracks. Very much looking forward to that, and we hope you guys watching along will join us next week for that one as well. Until then, thank you very much and good night.